Oh, Jesus, Christmas. Why me? Always me. Alright, I'm gonna go out for a little ride today, put some miles on the bike to get it up close to the 1,000-mile mark so I can get my 1,000-mile service. I got about just over 700 miles now. So it's a little chilly today. It's like 45, 50, maybe 50. Got my new Kimimoto heated vest on to take the chill out. So let's go for a little ride. I'll see how the vest works, and we'll find something to talk about. All right, boys and girls. We're going out for a little ride today because I have about 700, when I started the day, I had about a 750 miles on the Big Red here, and I want to go get her 1,000-mile service done. So I'm trying to put on just enough miles to get as close to 1,000 as possible. She hasn't been worked on or looked at by a professional mechanic since I got her, and I got her with under 500 miles on it, so I don't expect there much to look at. She seems to be running rather well. I got no complaints, but I like to get all the fluids changed because this is 2022 and I bought it at the end of 2023, but with only 500 miles on it, less than that, so it hasn't been used much. The oil's been kind of sitting around. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. It's synthetic, but you know, nothing like a fresh set of fluids. So I got 762 now, and we're gonna go out for a little ride today. It's you can see kind of like an overcast day here in northern Jersey. It's about 50 degrees. I got my nice heated vest on, and I gotta say it's working rather well, taking the chill out. And this is my first time taking Big Red on this route, which is one of my favorite little local routes to go on. It's about, I don't know, maybe an hour long, a little longer than an hour, depending on traffic conditions. Nice little twisty up through some of the mountains here, local to me. That's why it's nice. I think I have good riding up here in northern Jersey. All right. I like it when we don't have anybody in front of us on this road. This is a nice twisty. Oh, a little police officer. So I just went through a situation where I realized, oh, here we go. You see, I spoke too soon. Oh, look at that. Anyway, so I just recently went through a situation where I noticed my battery tender was not charging. I keep the bike hooked up to a tender when I'm not using it to preserve the battery. And I noticed the tender was not charging. Oh, Jesus, Christmas. Why me? Always me. I swear to God, always me. And so I thought at first that the tender went, you know, it broke, and I was gonna just go out and get another one. But then I realized that my phone, which is hooked up to a wireless charger on my quad mount, that also wasn't working. So I thought to myself, I'm no electrician, but if the tender's not charging and this isn't charging when the wires are connected, then perhaps the issue is not the tender. Perhaps it's something else, electrical. And then I started, you know, kind of plotting that, oh, Jesus Christ, now it's going to be something electrical. I got to bring it in. It's going to be expensive, blah, blah, blah. But before I freaked out, also, the first thing I did was I took off the seat and I tried to look at the battery, thinking that the tender wire connection was going, you know, connected to the battery, because that's how I've seen it done. That's how I had it on my other bike. So I took off the seat. I was able to figure out, not easily mind you, how to remove the ECM, because the battery sits under the ECM. I believe ECM is electronic control module, something like that. So I finally got that off, and the battery was under there, and I could see the two ports for the battery, the positive, the negative. But it didn't look like there were any wires connected to that, meaning the tender wire was not connected to that. So I was like, all right. And this bike came, as most Harley touring models now do. This guy's killing me. This guy's killing me. I want to go around him so bad. But I'll be good. I'll be good for now until I get it straight away. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, I couldn't trace the connecting wire that comes out the side of the bike back to the battery. It's under the side cover, and it just kind of goes into nowhere, and I couldn't trace it. So that didn't get me anywhere. I thought maybe there was an issue with a loose connection somewhere. So what I did was I just took a ride to my local Harley dealer, went into the parts department, and told them what I was experiencing. And they said, if the charger is blinking as if it's working, but it's blinking red, meaning it's not charging, but there's power to it because it's blinking, then maybe it was a fuse. A fuse was blown. And so I said, oh, I didn't think about that. So long story short, I go back home, open up the fuse box, and figured out, in fact, it was a blown fuse. And I had a spare. It was a 5 amp fuse. Put it in, voila, we're back on track. So I got lucky. It was an easy fix. Why the fuse blew? Who knows? Could have just been a bad fuse, could have been a power surge, I don't know. I'm not an electrician. All I know is I'm happy it was a small fix. I was able to do it myself. Otherwise, the bike was running perfectly, you know, so the blown fuse was not affecting the way the bike ran, from what I could tell. Oh, this guy, why even go out? So I've decided to go to a local motorcycle shop to get my 1,000-mile service and not go to the dealer. It's a little bit less, and I think I feel more comfortable having a local guy who works on Harleys all the time do it. One of the things that I've read about is, which Harley the dealer doesn't do when you're doing a 3-hole oil change, is for the primary, I think it's the primary and the transmission. Well, that's a nice house. A primary and transmission fluid, they do it a different color. They use a different color fluid. Oh God. In case there's ever a future leak, it's easy to tell where it's coming from if you're using a different color fluid. So if it's the color that they're using, let's just say it's pinkish in the primary, then and you're leaking pink fluid, then you know it's coming from the primary and not the regular oil. So that makes sense to me. I like that. A couple of private shops I spoke with told me the same thing. They use different color fluid. Harley dealer does not. and private dealers use, I would guess, a little better better oil than the Sin 3 Harleys use. So, and the fact that it's cheaper, I'm going to go private. At least now we're going the speed limit. That helps. Ooh, this Kemimoto vest is nice and toasty, I gotta say. It's doing its job. So I took advantage of it. I bought myself a pair of heated grips because in the next month or two, I think I'm going to go put some 10-inch bars on my bike. I'm leaning towards the Polyafy monkey bars. I've heard good thing about them. And from what I could tell, to be honest with you, all the different, you know, mini ape style bars for this bike, they're all about the same. Same width, same hand position. So I don't know if it makes much difference, but I didn't hear anybody complain about the monkey bars yet, or say anything negative about them. So I like everything about them, from the look to the specs. It'll put my arms just up here, which is what I want. I don't need 12s. I think 12s are too much for me. I'm only 5'7". So I got grips. I'm going to get the bars, and I'm going to get some adjustable levers to make them a little bit closer. It's more concern for the clutch side. I'd like it a little bit closer and a little bit easier of a pull. You know, going in stop and go traffic, the clutch is a little bit hard and my hand gets a little bit tired. So I've been looking at, you know, the Flow Motorsport shorty levers, or Oberon makes adjustable levers, and they do have different color options, and so I do like that. I do like that. They have a black lever with a red adjustable knob up top, which I think would look really sharp on this bike. So that's going to be my next big project. It's the bars, the grips, the levers. You know, I figure you do it all at the same time, because they have to take the grips and the levers apart anyway to put the bars on. So that's the time to do it. Might as well just do it all in one shot. You know, I've been watching a lot of videos on people doing it themselves, installing their bars themselves. But to be honest with you, I just don't think I want to get involved with that. Not yet. I'm learning how to do some things on this bike, which is great, but doing the bars and the levers, running the wires through, it's just a bit much. I want to make sure it's done right and there's no issues. So it's not a cheap job to have a shop do, not at all. But I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and have it done professionally, so there's peace of mind there, and I don't have to spend, you know, all day working with a buddy trying to get this done. Well, this wasn't quite the ride I was expecting when I decided to take this route. I was not expecting to be stuck behind this thing for half the ride. What are you gonna do? Oh, this guy is following me. Of course he's following me. So the back of my neck is beginning to bother me a little bit, and I think it's because of the riding position. I had this on my Vulcan. I think if my arms were up a little bit higher like this, it would alleviate some pressure and sit me back a little more. Not that I'm reaching, but I don't know. I have a feeling that would solve that problem. Oh, look, he's turning. How about that? And I'm going to turn too. Have a nice day! So let me know what you guys think. Put in the comments what kind of bars you like if you have a street glide. Give me your height and how tall of bars you have. I know the most popular size is 12 inches, but I think that's just a little too high for me. Especially, I want to be in control, doing slow speed skills, making, tight U-turns. I practice that. So I think a 12 would be just a bit of a stretch when I'm trying to turn, turn the forks almost to a full lock. One day I'll get there. I'm not even close yet, but one day. Like I said, I've watched videos on a ton of different types of bars, KTS Customs, Factory 47, the monkey bars, even Clockworks, has a couple of reach bars, but I think they're all roughly about the same as far as width and pullback. I want as much pullback as I can get so I have a comfortable bend in my arms. That's really what I'm looking for. Like, this bend is good, I just want it a little bit higher. Reminds me of when I did my first Harley demo day. I got so excited because I was doing like 60 in third gear and it was like nothing. Loved it. I'm looking for another demo day near me this year. I haven't seen any notices yet, which is a little bit odd. There it is, 60 in third gear. Woof, easy. Easy for this thing. So, I'm also thinking about getting a seat. I gotta be honest, so far this one, the stock seat, isn't bad. I weigh about 160, so not too heavy, I don't think, for 5'7". And, it's been comfortable. I slide around a little bit, which I don't like. I'm not super snug. It doesn't have great back support. My back doesn't really bother me. It's more the top of my neck. That's what bothers me. And so I've been looking, at the go-to seats, Saddleman, Lepera. I got to sit on a couple of Saddleman step-up seats and the CDC Customs one. I didn't like that at all. The CDC Customs. I thought it was overly hard. A hard seat. And so I really wasn't impressed with that at all. I sat on a Lepera tail flip seat, which is the one I was considering. And that actually wasn't bad at all. I kind of like that. I want something a little bit softer that you don't have to break in for 500 miles. Maybe get some red stitching to match the bike. Dress it up a little bit. So then the question becomes, like, do I get the seat before the bars? Give me your thought on what you think are some good seats. I'm about practicality and comfort, and I want it to look good too. You know, so like the road sofa, you know, I'm sure that's probably the most comfortable. But I don't quite like the way it looks. I think I got another 15 years before I go for the road sofa. And I'm not, you know, I'm not doing cross-country miles yet. So I need something that's good for some day trips, weekend trips. 70 and third! That was 80 and third! Woo! So my plan is to pay for the 1,000-mile service, and then I will do regular interval oil changes myself. So getting back to the seat, I keep thinking to myself, maybe I should get the seat first, because that will then position the bars correctly. Does it make sense to get the bars, and then you change the seat, which could change your seating position, which might affect your reach for the bars? I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm curious. Does it matter? Seat first, bars first? Not to give you too much information, but I peed right before I left, thinking that I'll be good. And I'll be honest, I gotta pee again. Anyway, thanks for joining me on my ride today. That's where I am with Big Red. Trying to put on a couple hundred more miles to get my 1,000-mile service. Make sure to take you along for that experience. And be safe out there, everybody. See you in the next video.